Hello guys. Hi everyone.
Muhammad.
Hello.
Hi Spencer. Hi Antoine. Nice to see you, man. Where have you been? I didn't see you, Spencer, since 2 weeks.
Well, when you're moving and you got to get with all your doctors, get with all you get moving company and all that kind of stuff. It also doesn't help my computer decided to die. So I'm running on an old HP laptop, my father's old laptop. So if I cut in and out during this meeting, no, it's because of that. Nothing you guys are doing. So I've been trying to not completely disappear these last couple days. Sure.
Yeah. Nice to see you. And also, I have a good news. Me and Antoine actually we purchased the tools that we need for CAIPO and Starlink also. I think we gonna deliver them maybe the 1st of July. So yes, we gonna do some work.
Good. Ugh. Yeah, I'm getting ready for a long move here. If anyone knows how big the states are, I'm moving all the way from California to Maryland. I'm going from the West Coast to the East Coast. So I'm
Oh,
doing a complete continental drive, which is going to be 5 days worth of driving, 4 stops,
oh
just
my
sleeping.
God.
So I'm putting close to 5,000 miles on my car in a single trip. So, you know, it's gonna be a very, very long drive. I have to go through Death Valley, for a good 2 hours. So I'm gonna be experiencing temperatures as low as 90 degrees, as high as 120. So I'm gonna
Oh,
be frying. Quite literally. So I had to micromanage my car going through there, but it's gonna be fun. Um, I'm pretty much here for this next week, but after next week, I have to pretty much gonna be unavailable because that's when I'm gonna be doing my drives, doing my moves this next week.
yep. What could I say? I'm very happy for you, but at the same time, I'm not that happy because I will not see you much.
Yeah.
To be honest. But anyway, wish you all the best, man. You deserve that.
Okay. Uh, Sent a message out to everyone. Hopefully everyone's seen it. So then reminder, hey, the meeting started. Uh, no.
Yeah. What you're saying? No, I think you're right.
Okay.
I think, Spencer, we can start the meeting right now.
Yes. Yes. Let me make sure there isn't. I did get a message, so let me make sure. Perfect. Okay. Yeah, we can get started. Let me share my screen.
Yeah, sorry, my camera's off. I'm on my way back from the lab. I'll be back home and I'll turn my cam on.
Okay. Okay, for last meeting, you guys went over a couple things. I wasn't there. Or I was there for Humanoid. We talked about some newer team members coming in, specifically Bomb for Desktop, Roadmap, and the Team Buddies. Yeah, presented research for the bomb, and everyone is working on tasks. IoT, as the room has taken a pause. You guys are trying to work up cleaning the GitHub, working with the new information provided. And you had some newer members joining this week. Bugs in Flow for front end, you guys had some bugs in FloBrain website to fix, and you were working with FloLabs Travel. Backend, you're creating your memory database and working on fixing response information from APIs developed so far. I believe that was just the information was be given as actual words was given by like metadata. Multimodal, you're setting up Jarvis GPU and creating test cases for the deployment of the duplex model. QA had no updates. FloLabs Travel, you had some issues, and you were again ongoing QA, specifically on the front end. Automation, you're improving your onboarding automation flow, working on deed applications automation, working on the Zoom to YouTube meeting automation, and working on automating LinkedIn posts, so working on those tedious automations. Data, you're working on your Masterclass, which I will say this, I think every team here should be working on their Masterclass. Design, you created a new website, worked on the mood changer, Hephaestus international websites. Probably will publish the final mood changer website version, working on version 2 of FloBrain website. For space, you're launching the new website and then working on the data sets to be integrated into the space buddy. And then we had no organizational problems from last meeting. Okay. Before we begin, is there anybody here that is new to this meeting that has never attended this meeting before? That would be Michael. Yes. If you want to give yourself you did it yesterday, but that was for Humanoid. If you want to give a quick introduction to now the full technical team, just make us aware that you're here and kind of tell us about yourself.
Yes, I am Michael. I'm a computer engineer. I'm hoping to learn I guess, how to work with AI and robotics. And I currently live in Idaho.
Ooh, are you perhaps going to Boise?
No, I'm
Or
going to Brigham Young University of Idaho,
okay,
which is on the
okay.
other side of the state.
Other side, yeah.
But
I'm an alum of Boise State University, so Idaho does hold a special place in my heart.
nice.
It was a fun time up there. Okay, thank you. Okay, good. Anybody else? I think that is it. Okay, perfect. Okay. Then oh, let me stop share. There we go. So for humanoid, let's start with humanoid. Ro The big thing being worked on right now is being worked on by me, which is the roadmap, which I would consider a blocker because I need to get it done. So I'm working pretty diligently on it. I hope to have it done by either Wednesday or Thursday. I hope to have it done by this week. During our meeting yesterday, we talked about some new tasks, specifically about kind of having our team think about what kind of features they want for their AI buddy, and more specifically, as we begin to start taking files, start making code, start um, this development process on the digital side, and start even development process in the physical, we need to kind of consider our organization. How are we going to store our files? Where are we going to store our files? Um, Even down to naming conventions, proper engineers. So we need to kind of think about that. And I plan to create a task for that for our team to kind of think about how we want to do our naming convention, where do we want to store our files and stuff like that. Some people don't have tasks. Again, that's because of the roadmap being a blocker right now. And that so like I said during the humanoid meeting yesterday, and I'll say here, everyone that's team leads for other teams that have team members that are part of the humanoid, uh, they are free to use right now. I don't need them currently, but I know some, people in CAIPO, frontend, backend, multimodal. You guys need the help because you're constantly working. So I would like you to uh, give them some tasks since I don't have any to give at this moment. And then finally, more about me. Uh, next week, on the July 3rd, I begin my long drive from California to Maryland. So for those 5 days, I will not be available. Uh, and probably a good bit afterwards because I will be moving to practically a new country because it's all the way across the United States. I see Michael nodding his head. He understands it. Uh, so I will be pretty unavailable. I will be trying to attend meetings. And I will try to reply to Discord messages every so often. Um, that's why I hope to get the roadmap done uh by this coming week so that while I'm gone, someone can kind of look at the roadmap and go, "Oh, okay, so this needs to be done still, this needs to be done still," and kind of put that together for themselves. So then the team isn't completely lost. So that's why I'm trying to make the roadmap not only brief and simple, but also as detailed as possible. So, also, as an inconvenience, I will not be attending Wednesday's meeting because I have been inundated with doctor's appointments. All my doctors want me to get blood tests, MRIs, CT, because I'll be transferring up to a newer doctor, so they want the new doctors that I will have in Maryland to have the most information possible. So I will not be available Wednesday, so I will not be in the Wednesday meeting for the technical team. But I will try to leave kind of a briefing on Tuesday so that at least you know what's going on. A lot going on in this team, me specifically. Okay. Uh, Ash, do you happen to have any updates for the CAIPO IoT?
Yeah. So last week I worked on the connection between CAIPO and the hardware and the app. Mostly just CAIPO in the app and then the hardware on the app, just like the details behind it. And I also did some research on Here, let me just share my screen.
Yeah.
I also did some research on the Omi pendant and like the key takeaways from it. So the Omi pendant is kind of just like a Bluetooth microphone that like records everything around you. It's kind of like CAIPO. It's like a tiny round plastic capsule, and it like slips onto a necklace, like a chain kind of thing. And in our design, we can kind of just make the CAIPO and then let users customize like how they want to wear it. You know. Also, I think our main focus should be just a strong Bluetooth connection and a battery that lasts all day. And also, I think we're going to be open source too, because the Omi pendant is open source. Like anyone can just upload their code on it and use it however they would like to. And the main concerns that I found of people like on Omi is there's a lot of Bluetooth dropouts because the phone has to stay pretty close to the pendant for it to work properly. So if we can make the CAIPO with like a little bit of internal memory to just save audio when Bluetooth connection drops, it would kind of like boost us ahead of the Omi pendant. And also, a lot of people get really anxious about anything listening to them constantly, like Google's and Alexa's. And our fix would include a mute button if you don't want to be heard at that moment.
Hey, Ash, you said uh, it was this basically like CAIPO. I mean, what's the difference between this Omi and CAIPO?
Not really much based on what I saw, except this one of our tasks was to research the Omi pendant, and that's kind of what I did.
Okay, so it's basically the same thing.
It's kind of the same thing, except I found some design flaws that Omi has that CAIPO can kind of capitalize on. And one of those being the Bluetooth dropout, and then the other one being like a physical mute button.
And you saw in the comments the Bluetooth was dropping. What was the reason for the Bluetooth dropping? Because I've got, so my Bluetooth never drops.
It's because the Omi pendant doesn't really have like the Bluetooth is strong, but when your phone goes a certain distance away, it starts like interfering the connection. A quick fix for that would be just adding like a tiny bit of memory, like RAM, and it would save the audio.
Why didn't Omi do that?
I don't really know. It was just like I asked, like I looked at a bunch of like Reddit posts about it, and this was mainly the big concern for it.
Well, I mean, it's open source. So based on the comments, you would think that they would, figure out how to solve that issue and solve it.
I don't really know why Omi didn't solve this issue, but this was one of the issues that I found.
Okay. Could you try and find out why they didn't solve that?
Yeah, for sure. For the next IoT meeting on Tuesday, I'll figure out.
Because there might be a logical reason, but it seems weird if they decided not to fix that because it's a major bug.
Yeah.
Or you call it design flaw, but it's like a bug. I mean, something's dropping like that. Okay, that sounds good. And Charles, Omi was on the list of I guess Charles and Antoine, you're doing the competitive analysis. Omi was on your list, right?
Yes.
And any major insights? I mean, how it compared to what we were doing, or
Well, it's pretty much close to CAIPO. That's why it's the main competitor. But
Mhm.
at the end, CAIPO will have a broader use case than the OMI pendant. Because CAIPO will be used for like sport, for education, for pretty much everything. Whereas OMI is mainly like a note taker, this kind of thing.
Mhm. Does it? I mean, it has an AI though. It's a note taker, but it has an AI, and it's going to be answering. It's going to be like you're chatting with ChatGPT, right?
Not OMI, no.
Okay, so you're saying Omi's not an AI, it's only a note taker.
Mainly. I don't exactly remember all there is inside. But yeah.
Okay.
They use the AI for note taking, as Charles says, but they don't use it the back way. So basically, they use it for just note taking. They don't use it for the chat functionality of AI. If I get
Yeah.
what Charles is saying.
Okay. Ash, can you research that and on our meeting on Tuesday,
Yes,
confirm
for sure.
exactly what they're trying to do with AI? Because it's weird that if like nobody's using like a wearable like that for integrate an AI into it.
I can for sure research and get back to you on Tuesday.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much.
Let me make sure I've got some over here. Okay. Next, Indra, want to give us an update on front end? If you're there,
Yeah.
there you go.
For the front end, we're finishing setting up the monitor and user tracking. So setting up Sentry and Google Analytics. And we are also working on search engine optimization techniques and testing the website.
Okay. For search engine, for the improvements to your search engine, your SEO techniques, can you briefly describe what those techniques are to someone that doesn't work in website design?
Yeah, we are trying to make not only actually search engines but also AIs understand better the website. So improve the content. So the homepage has some content about what is the FloBrain website. So we're trying to improve that content and also add keywords so
Yeah.
search engine can find the website.
Okay. Okay. You're trying to get the context, basically.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense to me. Okay. I was curious. Okay, backend. Pretty short.
We are creating the memory database accordingly to the supermemory architecture and fixing some API responses.
I assume it's the API responses is more of a data problem, not getting the response problem.
Yeah, it's about the information that the API is returning.
Okay, yeah, it's returning it as the wrong type of data. If I remember correctly, that's what you
Yes.
guys are going through. Okay, perfect.
Exactly.
Making sure I have my ducks in a row. Okay, and then multimodal perception.
We are onboarding some new members and creating the test cases for the duplex model deployment.
Perfect. Yeah, I understand that, so I have no questions there. Okay. FloLabs Travel, here, since you're here, I saw you. If you want to give us an update there so I can give Indra a break.
Yeah, I'm here. Just a minute.
There you are.
Can you still hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yeah, internet is working. For FloLabs Travel, basically, I'm right now working on both on the back end and front end only. So I'm not knowledgeable on what's going on other teams since I've got busy with the university work.
Okay.
Oh, and just I
So,
need to mention, John asked me to create the task for the FloLabs documentation. I created the task, but I need to create an online document so that every team lead can access it. On which account should I create this document?
that
Which
everyone can
account?
access it.
Yeah,
Like,
sorry, Spencer.
is
Which
there a
account
specific
you're talking
account?
about? Yeah, on
Uh,
Notion?
no. I want to create a document, online docs, or we can create at a Notion page.
Okay,
That's
if you
what I
want to
was.
create a Notion page, it will be much simple. But if you want to create a doc file on the cloud, you can use analytic.flowmad@gmail.com.
Deal. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll
But
share you the
Bakir,
credentials.
but I'm sorry, Bakir, what was the task again?
The task for each team lead to go and check the document and check the information for their respective teams and check if it's right or need to be improved and make it 100% accurate, like catching up what's the progress until now in each team.
Okay. Not, I guess that's part of it. The objective is to create all the context in the organization and in each team specifically, so we can add into Claude, into Chat, into OpenAI, into Cursor, into the tools that we use that require context in order to give us wings and help us be more productive.
Yeah,
Because
I got it.
right now, I think we're using all the tools that we're using. They have little to no content in them. So it's also connection to GitHub, connecting whatever the AI requires to help to provide context to understand what we're working on and to help us do our jobs better, right? I think that's the objective.
Yeah, that's the objective. The document right now, it's for me. And when the document is completed, I will fragment it and make it more for each team, specific for each team. Like for the ethics topic, only for the ethics. For the design team, only for the design team. It will be connected to the front and back end. All memory will be connected with each other, but there and some independence in each other. So I will create like MD files for each one, and I will make the right hierarchy for the memory.
Okay, so they'll basically be like skills in Claude.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, and what about like GitHub, for example?
I think we can, this MD file, we can attach it to each project, and this project, when it goes to GitHub, it will be updated. Like this will be a part of the project. This memory will be integrated within the project, so we always catching up what's the new thing it's going on and what all the tasks are done with it.
So you're saying that GitHub will be connected to our MD file and not connected directly to Claude
Yeah,
or OpenAI. It'll be
yeah,
connected, but only through the MD file.
exactly.
And why would we not connect it directly into Claude or into OpenAI or in Cursor?
then we don't need the MD file, since Cursor and Cloud will be overlooking all the project. So Cloud and Cursor will be it doesn't need the memory. It has all the things that are done. Like Cursor right now, when I open the CAIPO website, Cursor will be going through all the hierarchy of the root project. It will go through the cloud, the back end, the front end. It know the connection between all these parts, and all good without the memory for it. The memory is for us. Like we need to document the progress of what our work is being done. Like when Word left, all the documentation, there was no documentation. So we were stuck with AWS for 1 or 2 months. We need a documentation that will always stay with us.
Okay. I'm trying to understand it from an architecture standpoint.
Yeah.
You're saying that it's better to connect GitHub into our MD file and then connect the MD file into the AI, rather than connect the MD file into the AI and connect our GitHub account into the AI. It's better to have one, not to have both of them connecting to the AI, but have one GitHub connect to the MD that connects to our AI. I'm
Yeah.
trying to understand. Okay, I'm trying to understand why we. I guess the pros and cons of doing it that way. Like you're suggesting, rather than connecting both of them. Do you lose something when you connect them individually?
Like if
In
we connect
AI?
the cloud with GitHub and the project as well, with both.
I'm sorry, say that again.
Just a minute. Can you hear me now well?
Yeah, I could hear you well before also,
Oh,
but I just might close my door because. Okay,
oh.
go ahead.
What I'm saying, what I understood that you are saying, do we lose something if we connect the cloud with both the MD and the GitHub? Like the AI will be connected with both the memory and the GitHub repository.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will need to make fast research on it. Like, is it feasible to connect Cloud Cursor with the GitHub, and is it advantage more than connecting it with the MD file? I will do some research on it.
Okay. Because I thought that's how companies usually connect their GitHub directly to their AI. That's what I thought was. So I've never heard of the MD file connecting to GitHub, and then the MD file connects to the AI. So
No,
all right.
basically, on Cursor, when when we're opening the project on Cursor, we are pulling from GitHub and pushing to GitHub. So the AI is already connected to GitHub. Like we are getting the latest changes of the project. The AI will be working with us on the task, and when we push, the AI can test and do all the tests for us, like a type check and all this stuff. So nothing go wrong when we push. So I need
Okay.
to check more about the connection between the AI and the GitHub.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. If you can check, I'd be interested to kind of understand the details. Also, as everybody may have heard, that SpaceX IPO'd, and the transaction, the Cursor transaction, the acquisition for 60 billion, um, took place, and so that's been done, and now what I heard is that as SpaceX, Elon is going to compete. Now he's competing with. I mean, he added it to Grok, because Grok isn't doing so hot. But so their AI strategy, but they announced that they're going to launch an application that's going to replace GitHub. And it's going to be a lot more powerful than GitHub because the code's going to be into their, let's say, GitHub competitor. And it's just going to be a lot more powerful because it's going to help write a lot of code and analyze a lot of code. So if you can also research that, Bakir, so we can try and understand when that's going to be launched and, you know, what that would do. I don't know. Obviously, Elon wants to compete with Microsoft. I think he's starting macro hard. So I don't know. So GitHub was acquired obviously by Microsoft. So macro hard is going to be competing with Microsoft, I guess. So okay, great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I will research on it. Thank you.
Okay. Let's move on to automation. Umama, you want to give us some insight what's going on there?
Yes, Spencer. Since Umama is not here, I will talk about that. So, as you know, guys, we have main for workflows we try to automate right now. We have two of them actually done, and we are testing them right now. The first is from the beginning for the applicants. When they send the message to us, apply for internship, till before the orientation meeting, Umama and Basil did a good job on that, and they test it right now. And hopefully by the end of this week, we're gonna have like this workflow is up. The second one is automate when someone apply also for the internship through Indeed, and I think this workflow also is done, and they test it right now, and maybe we're gonna publish it soon. The third workflow that we have is automate these meetings that we have right now from Zoom to YouTube. And I think Rahwa and Ziada did a good job on that task. And I think also, like the next meeting, we can say like this task is done. The last one that we have is to automate the post on LinkedIn. And I think this task is done. And we have all the information right now with the list about all the interns that we have. Thanks to Charles and Emily, they did a good job on that. And they sent the link on the general chat within the server. So guys, any one of you, newer or senior here, please go and fill this form with your information there. If you didn't have like a post before, we will create a new one. If you had a post before, we will not create a new one, but we're gonna save your information just if we need it in the future. I think this is the most updates about the automation team, and I think the next meeting we're gonna have more to talk about. Yes.
Okay. Okay, great. For data, Mohammed or Wu Chang, if you want to give an update there.
Okay. Wushen, do you have anything to say?
Yeah, maybe I say first, and if you have other, you can add it. Yeah, the first thing is that we already create the data pipelines from the HubSpot to the BigQuery and then to the Power BI. And we use the Power BI for the data visualization to analyze the trends. And now we decide still continuing use the hotspots. And second, we have verified the effect of the Indeed in the boosting the number of the application. Now we focusing on the Indeed. And third, we use the Google Search Console to analyze our SEO's data and found the issue with the diluted SEO authority and the keyword performance. And we already finished the master class of the BigQuery. Now I am learning it. And the next week, I think I need to do some research on the hotspots. Yeah, this is my part. Mohammed, if you have anything to add, just feel free to add it. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Shank. As Shank said right now, the first thing that we have right now is we updated the master classes that we have with the data team, and we have module right now. It's not gonna be within the general master classes, but it's gonna be a separate module for someone who want to have more experience on this aspects. One of them is BigQuery. And thanks to Whitney, he did a good job on that. And the other thing that we have right now, we try to work on HubSpot to use the data analytics tool to give us enough information about all the applicants that we have on HubSpot, the newer and the people who applied before, numbers about who's the people, from where, their status. Did we send them a message or not? Did we reply to them? In which life cycle they are? So we try, and we started a task with this, thanks to Whitney also, and Washing, and I think Tammy also with them. They're gonna start to work on that task. The third task that we have right now is, as Washing said, we try to integrate all the information that we have on Google Cloud Console for all the websites that we have. We found some of the websites, we configured all of their information on Google Cloud Console, but others we didn't do that yet. So these are the main three tasks that we have right now from the data analytics team.
Good. Okay, give me a sec. I forgot to start my timer. But sounds good. I'm actually happy that automation's moving forward. The big thing I'm happy about from that is the automation of applications, because I know that's always been a tough spot after some people left, and trying to manage those application processes and getting new team members. So I'm happy to see that we're automating that and we're getting somewhere with that, because that's the one I've always been interested in. So that's good. Okay. For design, Mohammed, Shirin, who want to give us an update there?
Joanne,
Flip a coin.
your turn. It's your turn, Joanne.
Since you opened your mic, I thought you were going to talk about it, but okay, sure. So we started updating RoboCollective based on the feedback, and during the design meeting, we kind of worked a bit more on it. So there are more feedback on it to update. We also made a shared footer to keep consistent between each website we have, as well as continuing on the design systems. We are also, to go with each website, we are getting in contact with all the people that will be kind of keeping charge of the text content for each website, slowly but surely. And we updated the UX UI Masterclass, and while it is not yet confirmed, I kind of added a Git and GitHub basics module, so people actually, work together and all that, understand the basics of it.
Okay, Okay. Most happy about you guys starting the update on RoboCollective. I will probably say you'll probably see a lot of repeated updates from multiple people. So have fun. But yes, finally, woohoo, getting RoboCollective fixed and some of the stuff edited. Yes, I'm happy. Okay, good, good. And I also like that you guys are working on website consistency so that it looks like all the websites are from the same company, which is great because we don't want people to kind of think that we're a fractured business. We want them to kind of be able to look at us and go, "Oh, this is FloLabs, this is, or FloLabs Innovations Group. This is all the things that they're doing." So website consistency is very important. Uh, and again, updating the Masterclass, I have to do it, so I feel like I'm behind
Good luck on
everybody.
it.
But okay, but that's good as well. Getting Masterclasses set up as we progress to using more AI and more tools at our disposal, so that's good as well. Okay, great. Um,
Can you add
last
something
one.
here?
Oh, yep.
I'm so sorry for that, Spencer. Can I add something? Because we forgot a team here, which is the legal team, that I'm part of this team, and also Julia.
Oh, okay.
Can we
Yeah, we
have the
gotta in.
bids from here?
Woohoo! Gotta add the team real quick.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. So if you want to do it, I'll add it while you talk.
Okay, thank you, Spencer. So, guys, regarding the legal team, we work on two main tasks right now. One of them is the RoboCollective competitors and all the information that we can get. And the second that we have right now is kind of presentation. I think Julia can present all of this information. Go ahead, Julia.
Yeah, 1 second, I'll share my screen. Should I start off with like the RoboCollective research or kind of legal body?
I think go for the legal body first.
All right, so what we're kind of working on with legal of defining what legal body should be considered as. And so kind of I did some research on that. I'm just gonna hop over to the summary to kind of see what legal body should be positioned as.
Yes.
Specifically, a legal body should avoid any kind of terms considering like legal advice, legal assistant, because that would constitute unauthorized practice of law. So legal body should stick to agreement manager or legal information tool. Some alternatives include like specifying it to documents if that's what we want to do, or kind of like positioning it as a like user self-help tool. That would be a petition, like additional options for what legal bodies should be considered as. Otherwise, like genuinely or generally, legal body can kind of work with documents, stuff like that, kind of. I wouldn't say like mark them up too much, but they can like, or legal body can use kind of templates and kind of use user-driven data to kind of basically provide something for the user in terms of like legal information, because kind of more or less what I was seeing with a lot of the kind of things that legal body is allowed to do is specifically having to do with providing legal information, as you don't need a authorized or sorry, licensed attorney to do that. So kind of legal body should be exclusively objective in everything that it provides. So that means kind of informing, not advising. And this is going to really kind of appear in what legal body isn't really allowed to say. So basically kind of using template-based or pre-approved text is what legal body is going to mainly do. This being said, there is a caveat. So kind of this UPL is very restrictive to B2C, so like business to consumer. But if we're looking at like providing legal body for law firms, then the risk of UPL largely disappears because the end user is a licensed lawyer. The licensed lawyer would sign off
on the work. And so basically, as long as like there is a licensed attorney, sorry, signing off on the work, Legal Buddy would basically act as a paralegal and would not assume like any unauthorized practice of law, if that makes any sense. What Legal Buddy isn't allowed to do, as mentioned earlier, it's not allowed to give any kind of legal advice. It can't draft anything from scratch. So redlining, like, there's a caveat, as long as it kind of sticks to pre-approved text, sticks to like templates, sticks to what the user provides, then it's allowed to redline. However, otherwise, like anything new is not allowed. Drafting up individual clauses, like especially user specific, not allowed. User specific comes up later as well, like Legal Buddy cannot specifically tailor to a user. Because if it does, then Legal Buddy would be applying the law to a specific scenario, and that is something that only a human is licensed to do. Legal Buddy cannot draft any litigation documents, so nothing that Legal Buddy kind of makes can go into any courts of law. Legal Buddy cannot advise any users to undertake any actions, I mean, unless they're lawyers. So this kind of includes phrases like, you should do this, you should sign this document, you should approve this clause, stuff like that. Legal Buddy cannot do that. Legal Buddy can also not provide any definitive legal conclusions, so it cannot say 100% that like a document will be kind of legally defensible, that this clause is like going to be 100% a certain way, that kind of stuff. Again, if the end user is a lawyer, then most of these restrictions disappear. But a couple of new risks appear, so malpractice liability and product defamation. So Legal Buddy has to be very careful to not assume a position of legal authority or like specifically fabricate any text. I think we've all probably heard of like a couple scandals concerning AI fabricating various cases and citations. So Legal Buddy has to be very careful not to do that. And also not kind of like position themselves above a lawyer so that Legal Buddy isn't making any final decisions on any cases. Human approval is going to be a very big thing in kind of defending us from UPL, because that is largely kind of the outlet for a licensed attorney to kind of approve the text that Legal Buddy kind of provides. So whenever Legal Buddy runs into anything subjective, shifts legal rights, like especially for redlining, whenever like something is being modified, legal rights can be instantly kind of switched depending on literally just like small changes in like phrases. So basically anything that's shifting legal rights or anything that's like high risk. So for example, there's a clause that could be considered like way out of the norm. Then like Legal Buddy in that case would probably suggest consultation with a licensed lawyer. So what to do in that case differs a bit between like B2C and B2B, so basically like lawyer versus consumer. So if kind of if the end user is a consumer, then there should be hard blocks. So Legal Buddy should literally like not allow the user to proceed with any other questions. Like if anything gets subjective, if anything gets like borderline UPL, like that should immediately go off to a lawyer. But if there is an end user as a lawyer, then it should kind of be like, approve this information, like verify that this information.
You cut out.
Julia, you're cutting out. We can't hear you now. But have you done the any competitive analysis on any other legal applications?
I have. That's going to be the second thing that I talk about. So this is more or less talking about Legal Buddy. And then I've like done kind of research on specifically RoboCollective, and the various competitive analysis for like agreements. So that's going to come up in a bit.
No, did you do competitive analysis for other legal applications?
Not yet, because I haven't really been assigned any tasks based on that, but that is something that I can proceed with later.
Okay. Why don't you do that, because that should probably have been done first, actually, to do competitive analysis so we can understand who's out there on the market. There's a number of B2B sites. There's a number of B2C sites. I've done a lot of research historically, on those applications. But you should go through the process and put them into a matrix. Just whatever companies are funded. You can look at Y Combinator. They've got a number of legal AI companies that they funded that went through there. There might be even going through there now. They all have specific niches that they focus on. So we want to see how they work, because they've already figured this out. Like Harvey's raised $1 billion, right? So they're like, of course, they're just B2B, but Claude Law just is coming out, and Claude's legal AI app is apparently competitive to Harvey, and it doesn't cost $10,000 a year or whatever Harvey charges. That's what I heard recently from an influencer. I haven't checked Claude's legal, but so he gave us a lot of good information. But we need to wrap our heads around what's going on out in the market first, and then we can kind of come back and do our, what does Legal Buddy look like from a B2B standpoint and a B2C standpoint? And then it's also a dashboard where our legal team or someone's legal team has whatever links to their law stuff that they want as part of that dashboard. Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you for that.
All right. So that's kind of what I have for Legal Buddy. I feel like I've covered basically everything. And then there's also kind of the competitive analysis for agreements across different, like specifically RoboCollective. So I kind of compared kind of the terms of service of various different competitors with RoboCollective. I found that they kind of split into a little bit of like consumer robot interaction and then industrial. So I set up like 2 matrices based on that. So if like CUDA Robotics, Unitree, 1X technologies are kind of more physical, so they have a lot more like actual kind of physical products. Roboniment, RoboShop Marketplace, and like Silicon Valley Robotics Center, they're a bit more like marketplaces. So that's just kind of something to note. This is just kind of general information on the agreements. So a lot of kind of what's similar is that legal liability is very much shifted like off of the company and kind of onto the customer. So like, for example, a lot of what you see with legal liability is it prevents buyers from suing a robotics provider for like financial losses if something fails. This is also very much seen in like force majeure events. So like in the case that something goes wrong and the company can prove that like basically like they cannot reasonably like sustain the contract in that case, then the company cannot be penalized for breach of contract for that. Otherwise, the company, or a lot of like what's seen common across companies, is that they can't be held liable for like basically misused by the user. So if the robotics provider is like told by the user that, or by the customer that like something happened, then the robotics provider is basically off the hook for that. This also includes stuff that happens downstream. So for example, if there's any integration that happens with like a third party, then basically legal liability is shifted off of that, off of the company and onto kind of that third party vendor. Otherwise, like I guess like um I mean product warranty also has to do with this, where like if the customer does something that isn't like allowed by the companies, so basically like private modifications, reverse engineering is actually very big, because this really pops up with like data stealing, especially with AI, kind of like robot companies, that kind of stuff. So kind of if that does happen, then a lot of what's seen in the terms of service of various companies really kind of shifts um, blame onto the client and kind of makes penalties for that. So that's a little bit kind of into the similarities. This also kind of appears in industrial-based companies. So like again, if the user does do something like weird, then that's kind of the user's fault. Here reverse engineering is also mentioned. Again, misused by the users, that kind of stuff. A little bit different for like industrial robot like companies specifically is the deployment of robotics in specifically high risk, ultra hazardous, or unapproved environments. A lot of industrial kind of robots do have to work like in environments that may not be particularly safe. And so there are various like clauses that pop up in specifically industrial companies that don't in various like I guess robot consumer interaction companies. Like for example, taking a look at like Boston Dynamics, they have a clause that specifically says that users must kind of be able to clean up any messes with pure soap and water only. And if breached, then that would basically be a violation, that kind of stuff. But yeah, that's largely kind of what I found. Otherwise, some like important or unusual clauses.
Well done,
Drop.
Julia.
You're
Thank
dropping.
you. Thank you for the updates, Julia. I think, yeah, everyone got the idea right now, and you did a good job, actually. A well done presentation. Hopefully, after we're done with like all the phases, as we discussed before regarding legal body, we can make the work is done. Well done. Well done, Julia.
I
And
appreciate it.
yeah,
If any like information does need to be clarified, like this is a lot
no,
more comprehensive than what I said. I just gave like a very general kind of overlook. So
this is your first presentation with us, but as you can see, like, you did a good job, but we need to summarize more and more for the teams here, in the future, but you did a good job. And thank you for that. And yeah, that's it. And that's yeah, go
so
ahead, Julie.
that's largely all that I have. So I guess I'll just stop. So
Yeah, thank you, Julia. These are the updates from the legal team, Spencer. Hopefully, the next week we're gonna have more information about what we have. Thank you.
Okay. Very good. Thank you, Julia, for a comprehensive presentation. From the legal side, definitely something that I'm probably gonna have to think about as the team lead for Humanoid, and one of the many people that's going to be on calls when it comes to selling stuff on RoboCollective. So if you ever run into a question about, you know, how we might sell certain things and how we might do stuff, what we want to do on the RoboCollective side in more technical detail, please let me know. Like I can explain it to the best of my ability what's kind of going on over there. But besides that, Bernard isn't here, or at least I don't see him on my tiny little screen that I got going for this Zoom call. He isn't here, so we can't really do an update for the space team unless someone here is also part of the space team, and was at that meeting. But I don't think anyone here is part of the space team, so there's really no way to do an update there. Um, But besides that, that is the end of today's meeting. If anyone has any organizational problems right now or questions, now's the time to ask them.
Well, Spencer, yesterday you asked me to talk about how I got the information for the desktop robots.
Yes.
You wanted me to present that to everyone.
Yes, I do. Last meeting, Antoine showed off a website he found for electronics hardware documentation for a bunch of products. I wanted him to show it here for HyPo and ourselves and any further electronic development we're going to be doing. So, Anton, if you could show what you found.
Oh, okay.
Let it load. There it is.
So it's called oh, it's bugging.
Yeah. Oh, there you go.
It's called what? Why my screen is turning black? What's happening? Let me restart. Okay.
Maybe the internet connection.
I don't know, my screen is turning. Okay, let me try something else. Sharing the whole screen, maybe.
Yeah, it might be better.
No, wait. Do you see my screen turning black or not?
Yeah, I see the black bars. Ooh.
Wow, 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 wow.
Okay, maybe you shouldn't be sharing this with such a big Zoom open.
Wow, what happened? Okay. So it's called an FCC ID. And so it looks like that. You have some information on the product, and sometimes you even have internal photos about the product. So this is for the Loy desktop robots. And as you can see, you have all the PCB, and you can read what component is used, the motherboard, the components, source chip SC69171, same thing, ESP32, PW555, you can see pretty much everything. So if you're doing some hardware research on a product, you can simply ask ChatGPT, like, does Omnipodon has an FCC ID? And it gives you the link. And so you can check the internal photos of Omi. Like that, you will see the components. And then you simply copy paste it on Google. And you can have some information on it. You can check the official website. You can compare the different families. You see, have some more information. So yeah, just ask ChatGPT about an FCC ID, and you can maybe find something like that. It's very powerful because in some cases you can almost retro engineer the whole thing.
Now you see why I wanted to bring it up here, just as a kind of like another resource, another thing that could help research into competitors, research into hardware choices of our competitors, even material choices maybe. If you do like what Antoine said with Googling it, finding if it has an FCC ID number, seeing what the component is, finding it on Google, that might lead you to go, oh, okay, they most likely chose this type of material for the case, or other insights you might be able to get out of that to be able to making even better suggestions of what we should be doing based upon what they have shown. So I wanted to bring that up for more specifically for Humanoid and CAIPO IoT, just to kind of show that off because I feel like that's a very powerful tool that I don't think anyone had presented before here. Okay. Any other questions or organization things we need to talk about? Nope. So, okay. Well, that is it for today. I'm gonna put down that website for. Okay. Okay. Well, that is it for today. There's really nothing else we need to update. So, everybody have a good rest of your weekend. And I'll see probably, well, I'll see everyone Saturday, well, or Thursday, for the PM meeting. But look forward to seeing you guys next week so we can talk about further developments. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye. That's it.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.